There have been many Robins in the history of Batman and DC Comics in general. Some might say too many Robins. But today, we are going to narrow down who is the greatest Robin.
Yeah, you know, it's not just Robins. Like, Batman's had a freaking plethora of sidekicks at this point.
Like, there's at least 8 right now.
Yeah.
That are all alive and working.
I know. It's gotten to the point where it's just like, it literally is a full Bat family.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, I'm Thomas.
I'm Merlin.
And together, we're the Comic Lads.
For the sake of this video, we're just sticking to the 4 main Robins.
Yeah, sorry. We're not going to talk about Stephanie Brown. We're not going to talk about Carrie Kelly. Well, it kind of seems like we're just ignoring the girls. But we're not. We're talking about the 4 main Robins who have each been Robin for more than like 3 issues.
Definitely. Maybe we'll do like a different video just ranking and talking about the whole Bat family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like talking about the history of that.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this video, let's get into the 4 main ones. But before we get started, guys, question of the week. Who is your favorite Robin? We're only talking about the 4 today, but feel free to list any of the ones that have appeared in the past.
Even in other multimedia and different alternate universes, you know, any Robin is at your pick.
Let us know, guys.
And as always, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share with your friends. It really helps us a lot.
Hit the subscribe button and join the Comic Lads.
Become a fellow lad.
A fellow lad.
All right, shall we get into this?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we were thinking we were gonna go from...
I freaking. You guys can't see me, but I just put my face in my hand because this is honestly a tough task.
It is. So we were thinking we would go worst to best Robin out of the 4 main ones. Today we're going to be talking about Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and of course Damian Wayne. We were kind of having like a debate on who was going to be worst Robin. You think it's Damian. I was going to say Jason just because Jason was Robin for like 10 minutes before he got domed.
I think that's just a personal vendetta for me because I really dislike Damian in all different fucking forms of media, like the comic books and especially the animated movies.
Ugh.
Have done Damian any favors because he's always just portrayed as this like annoying little fucking like just a little wimp, dude. I hate him.
He's young Sheldon.
He's young Sheldon. Like, he's just so cocky and, like, self-righteous.
It's not that he's cocky. He's just like a little, like, dirty rat. You know, he's like such an ass.
If you guys don't know about him, a little backstory. Yeah. He's the son of Talia al Ghul.
Yeah, the ill-conceived son of Talia and Bruce.
This is just gonna be a little side rant. You know how I feel about this.
Yeah,
but Grant Morrison is the creator of Damian Wayne. And I read recently, for the first time, A Serious House on Serious Earth, which is by Grant Morrison.
Yeah, you fell in love with it.
It easily became my top 5 favorite comic books ever. The art, the story, the symbolism, you know, the deeper meaning behind it. It was all so perfected. Yeah. And so I went on a little Grant Morrison binge. I might get canceled for this, but fuck, I hate his writing sometimes. Really? And so I picked up Batman and Son, which is by him, of course, and it introduces Damian.
Yes.
God damn, it's god fucking awful. It is just so convoluted, and they make Damian so unlikable.
He is the wackest character ever.
Tim Drake, we'll talk about him later on in the video.
He's your favorite comic book character of all time.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite, if not the favorite comic book character of all time for me. And in the story, you know, Damian comes into the picture. And there's this one scene in particular where Damian is like getting used to the Batcave, and like Tim comes up to him and he's like, oh, hey, like, you know, you want to train together? Like, I know you know, new kid on the block. I'm the current Robin, but I'd love to like get to know you. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you gotta get ready to like fight crime and shit. And Damian's like, oh, don't worry, I already fought crime tonight. And he pulls out a fucking headless guy that he killed.
No, he pulls out the severed head of like a mugger.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I already fought crime today, Tim. You're freaking useless.
I really can't hear any arguments that'll tell me like Damian didn't suck when they first made him. He has been a character for over 10 years.
I know.
And they've had him grow. He's pretty likable now.
He is likable now.
I think you can get some great stories out of Damian, but I hate what he does to the Bat family, which is make Tim Drake completely irrelevant.
Because it's also like, for me, like, my headcanon is kind of like Tim, third time's the charm kind of thing, you know what I mean?
He's the good Robin.
Yeah, and it also feels a bit weird because now, like, they're both kind of Robin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what's happening? But you do bring up a good point. He is, like, a lot more likable now. He plays really nicely off of the different Bat family members now, you know, as, like, a kind of little brother of the group.
Yeah, and he's like, he's more of just, like, a little shit now than, like, a homicidal maniac that you're wondering why is in this book, you know?
But yeah, just since his inception, I still have those, like, memories cataloged of him being whack and whiny and, like, you know, super over-the-top brutal.
Yeah.
I do think there's a plus to him being a member of the League of Assassins.
It's another cool thing for when you do Batman Beyond comics, because in the future he can be the head of the League of Assassins, which is for sure my headcanon.
Well, actually, in Batman and Son, the second half of the book takes such a weird turn. You see Damian is the Batman in the future.
Yeah, Batman 666 or whatever. Yeah, and he has that wonky costume.
Yeah, I personally don't really envision him taking over the mantle.
I don't either, because he wants it too much. I don't think he wants it for the right reasons.
That's the thing, but, like, even his origin, it just feels too icky. You know what I mean? Like,
gross, yeah. And it's not his fault, you know? It's Grant Morrison's fault and, like, other writers.
Like we said, there are a few redeeming qualities to him, and he seems like he's a lot better now than he was at the beginning of his creation.
Yeah, much, much better.
Yeah.
I still kind of hate him.
I do hate him, yeah.
Yeah, you hate his guts.
I really dislike him.
We aren't writing the 10 commandments of Robin, you know? This is just, like, our opinions. I just, after talking about it, bro, I kind of fucking hate Damian.
I don't like him. And I really don't like him in Batman and Son. I could make a whole fucking video just on that book, dude.
Let's not. Okay, Jason. Okay, so just quickly getting into the history of Jason Todd as Robin. He was originally introduced after Dick Grayson stopped being Robin to, you know, become his own man, become Nightwing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Jason, you know, I guess he wasn't, like, doing that well with the fans. He was kind of a more rough and tumble, like, rough around the edges Robin. His backstory was that he was, like, a street tough who Batman actually caught trying to steal the tires off the Batmobile, and he was like, oh, instead of, like, beating up this kid, which, like, a lot of people that don't know about Batman would probably think I would do, let me, like, take him in, see, you know, if he has potential to, you know, kind of fight crime. But then I guess he wasn't popular at all. DC basically put out, like, a 1-800 hotline number that you could call, and I think there was 2 numbers. If you called one, Jason Todd would survive the story, and if you called the other, they would kill him off. Oh, we don't know what to do here. You guys please pick for us.
Yeah, it was like them admitting defeat. Yeah. They just, like, tallied up all the votes and were like,
it's pathetic. Why don't you just, like, you could have done that for Damian and he would have died because people hated him. So long story short, the calls went in the death direction and he got killed. Joker killed him. Really great, seminal, iconic story. Really great moment and a terrible failure for Batman. It's like a kind of, like, scar that he'll carry forever.
And it's also kind of like Batman's death of Gwen Stacy story.
100%.
Where it's like his arch nemesis really solidifies, like, his absolute brutality and, like, villainy. You know, obviously with Gwen Stacy, it's Green Goblin killing her off. But with Batman, it's Joker killing off Jason Todd.
It's crazy. Listen, I like that as part of Batman's history.
I mean, he had so few stories that if you even look up on the internet, you know, best of Jason Todd stories
as Robin,
there's only really a couple that stand out.
There's 2. It's like Batman the Cult, and then For the Man Who Has Everything, which is a Superman story that they adapted into an incredible episode of Justice League Unlimited.
But also, it's like they killed him off before they could really, like,
do anything at all with him.
And now we've only got characterization for him in flashbacks in current comics.
Yeah, because he's Red Hood.
You know, each Robin has their strengths, but Jason, like, only kind of has his, like, grit and determination from when he was a street rat.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, there's not even enough to really talk about him here. Do you know what I mean?
There isn't. But again, we hate him less than Damian.
Let us know what you guys think. Is Jason Todd overrated? Let us know in the comments below.
Yes.
Are we just being Damian haters? Most likely.
1,000%. Yeah. I'm fully self-aware about that.
Yeah, me too.
Shall we get into...
Oh, God.
The good ones?
Guys, this is making me nervous.
Yeah, who's next, bro? Because I know who's next for you, but I know who's next for me also.
We're down to Tim Drake and Dick Grayson. I mean, I don't think there's any argument between us. They're the 2 best.
They are 2 fucking S-tier characters.
And they're, like, really neck and neck.
They are.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
We gotta be careful here, though, because we can't talk about Dick as Nightwing. This is Dick as Robin.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. We gotta talk about them as Robin.
Shit.
But this is the thing, right? Dick in a lot of ways is symbolic of Batman opening up and trusting people.
He's the first person he ever took his mask off in front of.
Exactly, and really allowing himself to have help that isn't just like Jim Gordon and Alfred. You know what I mean? Someone new that can get emotionally close to him.
It's also Bruce's first new family member.
Yeah.
You know, because he's always had Alfred. When Robin comes in, it makes them a family, the three of them.
It does. Batman's character is like formed around this idea that it's like him versus the world.
Yeah.
And I like that we gotta stop saying Dick. I like that Grayson opens up like the possibility of allowing that aid and other people to come into his life to, you know, not just aid him in his fight against crime, but also his fight against himself almost.
I completely agree with you. Dick opens him up.
Yeah, he does.
I was waiting like 30 seconds to say that.
Let's talk about Tim though.
Yes.
Because as much as I love Tim,
I adore Tim.
you know, it is very neck and neck. I think he is the next ranking on the list. Let's talk about his backstory a little bit.
Yes.
One thing that really strikes me about Tim that I always fell in love with is that he's actually the only Robin that deduced Batman's identity prior to him becoming, you know, Bruce Wayne's ward or whatever, adopted son.
Tim was at Haley's circus the night Dick Grayson's parents died.
Yeah.
And saw him like do like some kind of flip. And then like years later, he saw Robin do that same move and was like, holy shit, that's that kid from the circus. And you're like, what the fuck?
He's a detective. He's smart.
Yeah.
He was always known as the smart one.
Yeah.
Each Robin has their strengths and weaknesses, but he was always the one that was referred to as the detective, like you said.
Absolutely. Like if you remember from Batman Hush, Bruce's inner monologue says all hints are pointing to Tim Drake, you know, wanting to become the world's greatest detective. And in Batman's own words, he's like, he will be someday.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking awesome.
Yeah, and for me, like, in my headcanon,
He will. He is the next Batman.
he is the next Batman.
Yes.
In my headcanon.
I fully agree. One, Damian wants it too much and he's a little shit. Two, Jason for sure doesn't want it. Three, Dick doesn't want it. Because Dick doesn't want to be in his shadow anymore.
And a special thing about Tim, too, he seeks out Batman because he knows that Batman needs a Robin.
Yeah, because he became Robin right after Bruce lost Jason.
Yeah.
And when Bruce lost Jason to the Joker, he became like a way more violent Batman, like kind of more dangerous and less hopeful and more fearful. And Tim saw what a lot of people fail to see. Batman needs Robin.
Yeah, he needs that person that he can open himself up to, you know what I mean, emotionally, and like we said before, in his fight against crime.
Yeah.
And that for me, like, the fact that he was so determined to like fill that broken void that Batman had at that point and really be there for him and like want to be there for him. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like more or less Jason, he was just kind of like an all-star Batman. Like, Batman just recruited him to like fight against crime.
Yeah.
But like Tim is like constantly pressing after him, and at first Bruce is like, I don't need you, like, get away from me, basically.
Yeah.
And Tim is like, no, you fucking need a Robin, dude.
Dude, are they like tied for number one?
I don't know. They honestly might. His backstory I think might be my favorite out of the four.
I agree.
On like a side note, you know this about me,
Yeah.
but I am such a sucker for superheroes that have like staffs.
Oh, yeah, like a bow staff?
Dude.
I hate when they give Dick Grayson like a staff in different adaptations. I'm like, that's fucking Tim's weapon, bro.
I know. It's like canonical with him, I feel. You know what I mean?
Okay, now, let's talk about
Dick. Let's talk about some Dick, guys.
Let's talk about Dick. I love Dick
Yeah.
Grayson.
Oh, God.
Dick Grayson is one of the best characters, not in just DC, but in comics.
He's like one of the first, if not the first, sidekick.
Dick is the first
He is the first.
He is the
yeah,
first
he's
one.
the first superhero.
From like 1939, I think, or 1940.
That's nuts.
It's insanity, dude.
You want to talk about his backstory? Because I know you love his backstory.
Oh my god, okay. Dick Grayson's backstory is like the coolest shit ever. Okay, so one time in like year 3 of Batman, Bruce Wayne is at the circus, Haley's circus to be too specific, and he's watching the trapeze act performed by the Flying Graysons. Suddenly, the rope breaks, and since they're like death-defying trapeze artists that don't use a net, Dick Grayson loses his parents. They fall to their deaths. The only 2 people left in the circus after are the cops, Dick, and Bruce. Fucking heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking because he's seeing another generation.
Another him.
Yeah, another him.
He's like, oh cool, I've been Batman for 3 years and look, there's another me.
Yeah.
Bruce not being able to leave this kid. He offers to, take him under his wing, at least for a bit, while he's looking for, like, a place to live or figuring out what he's going to do with his life. Batman helps Dick track down his parents' killer. He gives Dick Grayson what he never had, which is closure on his parents' killer. I think that's one of the greatest things that Batman's ever done.
Yeah, 100%. And in a symbolic way, he's also helping himself through that. Yeah. Find a sense of closure and being able to help this kid achieve what he couldn't. These two broken characters
heal each other.
They heal each other because at that point, year 3, Batman is still kind of like this one-man crusade against crime. And him being able to open himself up emotionally, it's almost like both find a new family with each other.
They do. It heals the broken pieces left by Thomas and Martha and left by the Flying Graysons.
There's also something to say about, like, his character in the comics. Even as Nightwing, he's kind of almost like a Spider-Man-esque character, a bit of a trash talker, very extroverted, very, like, goofy in the midst of the heat of battle, essentially.
He's hopeful. He's like a perfect Blue Lantern, which I never thought about.
True.
Right?
Very true, actually. Yeah. I feel like that plays off very well against Batman's personality because he doesn't take things too seriously, and I like to think that he kind of shines a light on Batman's, like,
dark broodiness.
Yeah, and he kind of almost makes fun of it a lot of times, which I love.
Yeah, and Batman's like, whatever.
Yeah, and just rolls his eyes.
Of course.
And so personality-wise, he might be my favorite of the Robins, honestly.
I think he's the most likable.
Definitely the most likable.
For sure. Dick's whole thing is that, he doesn't want to be Batman. And that's exemplified when he leaves the mantle of Robin to become his own man, to become Nightwing. And as Nightwing, I feel like he has, like, broken through that ceiling and become who he was always meant to be.
100%.
You don't see that a lot for a lot of these characters because most of them aren't really allowed to grow, when they're like young characters in the comics.
Yeah, or stay grown. There's constantly retcons and people backtracking on what other writers have done. And I like that the general consensus among all the writers for Batman and Robin was, no, this character is better as Nightwing.
He is Nightwing.
He is Nightwing.
I agree.
So yeah, guys, our final list ranking, it might be a bit triggering, but at the bottom we got Damian.
100% we do.
Next we got Jason Todd.
Yep.
And then I think you're right. I think Tim and Dick are pretty much tied. I don't know.
That's the thing. It's like Dick was the best Robin. I think he's the best and most fully realized character out of all of these.
But in the mantle as Robin.
Tim is the best Robin.
He's the greatest Robin.
He is the greatest Robin, and he is the one that is most likely to become Batman.
Yeah.
And who I think should be Batman.
Damn. I feel like we both just, like...
We just fucked our video.
I know.
Like, there's no answer.
No, not that, but I feel like we both, like, have kind of come to the consensus. I don't think we fully had an idea of who would be at the top at the start of this video, but I think that's a great way of putting it. Dick is, symbolically, he means a lot for Batman.
Yeah.
But I think Tim Drake as Robin, the fact that he's, first of all, actually wants to be Robin.
Yeah.
He understands the need for a Robin in Batman's life. I feel like that takes him just barely at the top for me. I think it's kind of like a thing where he's the best, but you like Dick more.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That is true. I do like Dick more than Tim. Fuck, man. Tim might be the best Robin.
He might be. What do you guys think? Let us know.
Guys, let us know. Finish our video points
and finish our video
and tell us who the best Robin is.
Yeah. And listen, we're two different people. We don't have the same mind. Of course. We can think two different things. For me, I don't know. Fuck, this is so hard.
Saying Dick is so dumb.
Dick is awesome. I don't know.
Oh man.
I love Tim, but I love Dick. Yeah, guys, you guys need to help us out. Comment right now who's the best Robin in your opinion.
Please help us.
Is it Dick? Is it Tim? Is it Damian?
No.
Is it Jason? Let us know.
Oh, fuck, man, we can't decide.
I don't know. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for the week.
Yep.
We are the Comic Lads. Just to reiterate, question of the week, let us know your favorite Robin down below, / who is the best.
Yes. You don't have to pick from the 4 we said. Pick from all the Robins in the entire multiverse. Who's your favorite?
100%. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. It really helps us out as a small growing channel. We try to work on these videos along with doing our full-time jobs, so any help along the way really helps. Maybe one day we can do this full-time. Who knows?
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
Fingers crossed. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We just hit 2K subscribers, bro.
Dude, we just hit 2K, but we also just hit 2.3K. What the fuck?
Insane. We love the support that you guys are showing us. It really means a lot that you're tuning in with us every single week. We love you all so dearly.
We love you all so much.
We love you.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.
Peace, amigos. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Nice.